I'm Kristen, and in this video we are going to unbox and take a closer look at the BirdReel Smart Bird Feeder. I've been using this feeder in my yard for several weeks now, and I feel like I've been using it for a good amount of time to offer a valuable perspective on using this feeder. I also have several other different types of smart bird feeders in my yard which use other apps. So from a user perspective, I hope to be able to point out to you some of the features I really like about this feeder compared to some of the other ones on the market. So let's get to it. We're going to start with looking at what's inside the box and how it all fits together. So here's the box as it comes, decent sized box, nice handle. Easy to open. And so here on the inside we have a warranty registration card, so makes it nice and easy for you with a QR code. We also have an instruction book, and this is a nice feature. Not everything comes with hard copy instructions anymore. So much of it is digital, so it's nice to actually get some a few pieces of paper in the box that you can look at for a reference. And of course, there's more available online and several videos that you can also watch to help you in your journey with this feeder. But I really liked that it actually had something in there that I could look at and didn't need a phone for. So as you can see, it's packaged really nicely, which is great considering that you don't want your smart bird feeder to be jostled too much when it's moving around in shipments and such, because it does have that camera on it. So I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes in just a second, but I'm going to start with some of the smaller bits. So here we have a little screw package for the various components, as well as a reset key in there. There's a cord for charging the unit. Show you what that looks like. Okay, and it's a USB charge port there on that cord. We have the perch and the 2 screws that go along with it. Pretty generous perch that comes with it, and really easy to put together. You just need a screwdriver and you'll put it together in no time at all. The other significant piece that's in the box here is the mounting bracket, which does come with a template for screwing it in. I'm not going to be using this mounting bracket. It is really sturdy. It's made of some pretty durable metal. Great if you want to mount your feeder on a building, a fence post, or a tree, but I will be doing none of the above, so I'm actually not going to need this. And that's it. That's everything that's in the box, at the bottom of the box anyway. We'll get to have a look at the feeder and the camera and what comes with that. So, of course, this is the part that everybody wants to see, what comes with respect to a bird feeder. A little bit of wind here, so I'm just gonna put the bags and the styrofoam in the box. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like out of the box. You can see we have the hopper part of it, the part where the seed goes in, the little tray here, as well as the roof. Important piece here, it's got solar panels on it. We're going to look at these parts in a little bit more depth in a second. And then of course the camera here, and it does come with a piece of plastic covering over the top that you do have to remove before you get started with it. The camera also comes already with a 64 gig micro SD card, which is actually in the camera already. So that's really nice for storage. It's a nice amount of storage. And again, we're going to cover that in a little bit more detail in just a minute. So in terms of getting the feeder ready, it's really easy. First thing you want to do is charge the camera. Okay, so you want to make sure that the camera is fully charged before you begin thinking about putting it outside. And so for that, you're going to take your charging cord, you're simply going to plug it into the camera. I can show you how easy it is to do that. The camera is really easy to manipulate. It looks like it could be a little bit tricky, but actually it's on this wonderful pivoting bracket. So it's really easy to access the top where the charging cord goes into the camera. So it's just a matter of kind of moving it forward, or you can take the entire camera out. It's held together with a little thumb screw. And so it's just a matter of really undoing that thumb screw, and the camera just pops right out, and you can hook it up to the wall and charge it with your charging cord. So some of the other features we have in terms of setup. So once your camera is fully charged, you want to hook it into your solar panel so that you don't have to think about recharging. So the way you do that, it's pretty simple. There's a cord on this end, and that goes into the camera at the front here. And then there's a cord that also, the other half of it, connects into the roof. So let me put this camera back in using that thumb screw, and I'll show you how to connect it together. You want to make sure anytime you remove the camera that you are putting it so that back into the feeder, so that the switch part, the part that says switch here on the top, is facing up. Okay, so we're just going to tilt that forward. We're going to put the half of the cord in just like that, and then the other half of the cord is going to go right into the solar panel roof. Oh, and you might have just heard it click on because now it has a source of power. The solar panel roof goes on really easily, and it comes off really easily, which is fantastic. So you literally just have to line up these two little plastic slots on the side with the roof, and then the roof is on as soon as you tip it over and click it in. So pretty easy to put together. And then grab a screwdriver and the two screws, and you can go ahead and install that perch. And aside from configuring it with your phone and your Wi-Fi network, it's ready to go. So it is ready to be used for the birds. You just have to configure it. It's that simple. Really love how easy it is to get this feeder together and apart. There's another thumb screw at the back which holds the base to the unit, the middle part of the unit. And so when you undo that, it comes apart easily for cleaning. And then there's two screws that hold this plastic part, the clear plastic part, to the white part of the feeder, the back of the feeder. And if you unscrew those, you can take it fully apart for cleaning. So really, really easy to put together. With respect to some of the features that I really like about this feeder, my favorite feature compared to some of the other products I've used by far is the dual solar panel roof. So some of the other products that are on the market have only one solar panel on the roof, and it is so incredibly frustrating. A whole bunch of birds just flew by me. I don't know if a hawk is in the area or something, but all of my birds just took off. Anyways, the solar panel on some of the products that are out there, it's only on one side of the roof. So while you can change it and flip it to whatever side it's needed, whatever side faces south, for example, where you're going to be placing it, or east, I really love that this one has way more flexibility. So the dual solar panels makes it a lot easier to use this feeder in a variety of different positions without thinking about having to switch the roof around. The other huge feature that I love about this feeder, more so out of the other smart bird feeders that I've been using, is how much seed it holds. This has to be the largest capacity of any smart bird feeder on the market. It holds 2 liters or 2.2 pounds of seed. That's a huge capacity. I filled it up when I was in the testing phase. I filled it up, and I honestly could leave it for a week and a half, 2 weeks before it needed to be refilled. And that is massive, because some of the other smart bird feeders that I have such a small capacity. I'm constantly refilling it, and it is a real pain to do it. So the larger capacity allows for a lot longer duration between feeds, which is fills rather, which is awesome. I also like how it has a little angle to the plastic on the inside, so it kind of shoots the seed right where it should go, out of the opening here at the bottom. It does have ventilation in the bottom, which is really important for keeping mold and moisture off of the seed and allowing for drainage when it rains, so it's not going to fill up with water. If you didn't want to use it with the perch, I think you could probably leave it off. If you have problems with some of the really large birds getting to your bird feeders, maybe you have a lot of jays in your area, for example, this just makes it a little bit easier for the birds. It also does help with the depth of field when the camera is focusing on the bird. So I'm not sure if you'd have more focusing issues, but it might be a way to keep some of the birds that are larger, if they're getting into your feeder and causing you a little bit of a headache. It might be something to try. At least I've only tried it with the perch on, but something to think about anyway. The other thing I love about it is that so many of the accessories come with the feeder at no additional cost. Right now, some of the smart bird feeders out there have a lot of add-on accessories that you can purchase, and you have to pay for shipping, and it ends up being a lot of money. And so I like that this has everything that you need already with the feeder itself. Now, in terms of the plastic, is incredibly durable. This is a really, really durable plastic. You can feel it, it's nice and thick. It's also weatherproof. So it's designed to withstand the elements like snow, like rain, and all those miserable conditions. So it is really a durable feeder as well. Let's take a look at mounting this feeder. As I already mentioned, the feeder comes with a really nice sturdy metal bracket, and it attaches to the feeder quite easily. You just line up the threaded hole there with the flange and give it a few turns, and there we go. It's nice and sturdy in that flange. And there is a guide piece of paper that comes with it so that you can line up your screw holes and do everything properly, making sure it's level and all that. And again, you'd probably want to use this flange perhaps if you were mounting it on a building or a tree or a fence post. However, I am not going to recommend you do any of those things. And the reason for that is because at our house, we have raccoons, we have opossums, we have squirrels, we have chipmunks, and all of those critters would absolutely love to get into this feeder and eat all my Wild Birds Unlimited bird food. And putting it in any of those places would make it really easy for them to do so. And of course, smart bird feeders are a bit of an investment. This is not an inexpensive feeder. It's got important technology that is needed to operate it properly, that we want to keep away from the critters, because if they're getting in here, there's a good chance that they could break something, and we definitely don't want that to happen. It's just not worth the risk. If you're going to invest in the feeder, you might as well invest in a really good way to mount it to keep those critters out. And to do that, I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to use at our house, the Wild Birds Unlimited Advanced Pole System. So the reason I love the Wild Birds Unlimited Advanced Pole System is with proper placement, away from where squirrels can jump, and with a raccoon baffle on it, I'm going to be able to keep all of those critters that I just mentioned out of this feeder and keep it just for the birds. So how am I going to mount it on this pole system? Well, lucky for me, the Wild Birds Unlimited Advanced Pole System does have a great flange, perfect for mounting this bird feeder. It's called the APS Tube Feeder Flange, and it's basically a piece of our pole system with a nice threaded piece on the top that perfectly fits this hole in the bottom of the feeder. So you literally just screw it into the bottom of the feeder and place it right on top of your APS pole system. And it also comes off really easy for refilling and cleaning, so nothing to worry about there. So that is definitely my recommendation for how to mount this feeder and keep the critters out. Now let's take a look at how to fill this feeder. I want to show you just how easy it is to fill it and to keep your birds happy and enjoying their food. It's super simple. You don't even have to take it off The pole system, if you're tall enough to reach, it's that easy. It's just a matter of tipping it forward, getting your seed, and pouring it in. This is a huge improvement over some of the other smart bird feeders on the market, because some of them come with specialized scoops that you have to use in order to actually get the seed into the feeder, because they're designed in a way that doesn't make it very easy to fill them, which has been one of my pet peeves from the beginning on some of those units. I also love that the camera is completely separated from the food. There's no contact there. And I have noticed that on some of the other products I've used, there are little places where the seed can come into contact with the camera itself, and I'm not crazy about that. I really like that this feeder keeps it separate. Let's take a closer look at the camera. So first off, I've been super happy with the photos and videos that I have gotten from the camera. It's done a great job of capturing lots of great images of my birds. And it's a pretty generously sized camera. It's pretty large. And part of the reason that it is the size is it has a very large battery, which is one of the biggest features that sets this bird feeder apart from any other smart bird feeder on the market. It has the longest battery life out of any smart bird feeder out there, and that is huge. It's got a 5200 milliampere hour battery, and combined with the solar panels that are helping this maintain the charge, the idea is that you never have to remove the camera from the housing to charge it indoors, which would be a huge upgrade over a lot of other products on the market right now. One of my biggest pet peeves with some of the other smart bird feeders I use is I constantly have to remove the cameras from the housing and charge them. And not only is it a pain in the butt to remember to do this and then have to go out and put them back, but also you may miss some key bird sightings that you want to see. So having a unit like this that's going to be able to sit in the camera and hopefully never have to be removed is a game changer and really sets this product apart from anything else out there. Now, do keep in mind that with respect to battery life, that's going to be affected a little bit on how you have your settings of your camera. So right now I have, for example, video clips at 15 seconds, but you can make those clips longer if you wish. I really just want to see the birds quickly come and grab some food and go on their way. But if you did extend that capture duration, then you're going to eat into your battery life a little bit more. So do consider that when you're setting up the camera. In terms of the specs, this camera is 2 megapixel 1080p HD camera, and it features a 130-degree angle wide viewing lens. So that's what you're going to see when you're looking out from your bird feeder, a really generous view. I mentioned that it does come with a 64 gigabyte mini SD card that's already in the camera when you open the box, and it does allow for you to put in a mini SD card that's up to 128 gigs, which is huge. I have some wildlife cameras that limit me to 32 gig mini SD cards only. So you're going to get a lot more storage with this unit. And if you want, this is not a requirement, but you can also purchase a cloud storage service with this bird feeder. Totally up to you and what you want to do with that. The other nice thing about this camera and its capabilities, particularly with a wide angle lens, is that it can dual as a security camera. So even though it's in your bird feeder capturing your birds, it also has functions in the app that allow you to monitor for any movement. So you can actually use it as a security device if you wish, and position your bird feeder as such if you wanted to use it with that feature. It does have a two-way microphone, again, if you want to take that security feature and use it in your yard. So the only thing I haven't been super crazy about is the depth of field of the camera. I find sometimes when there's multiple birds on the perch, it might struggle a little bit with getting one in focus if it's too close or too far, if there's multiple things. It seems to do best when the birds are sort of towards the last 2 rungs of the perch. But this is not a problem that is unique to this camera. I've found that with some other smart bird feeders out there as well that are on the market that I've been using. So it's not unique to this feeder. I just wanted to let you all know about that as well. In terms of setting up the camera, couldn't be easier. Again, you want to plug it in, fully charge it before use, and while it's charging, why not download the Bird Lover app on your phone? So take some time, put it on the device that you want to use it with, and then it's just as simple as creating your login and username. You can even create a home screen that shows things like the temperature and humidity that the camera's recording, which is kind of fun if you want to look at those features. And then to add your device, so once it's fully charged, go up to the top right hand corner of the app, hit the icon, and it'll prompt you to ask you which bird feeder model you're using. And you simply follow the steps and add the camera to your app, sync it together. And it'll also help you sync it to your Wi-Fi network as well, which it does utilize, like most smart bird feeder cameras out there, the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. So just make sure you are using the right type of Wi-Fi when you are setting this up. That is important. So before putting the camera back in the housing, make sure it's turned on, and then you're going to be ready to use it with the app after you've synced the devices. So once all those things are done, your camera's on your app, it's ready to go outside. Again, the app pairing process is very, very straightforward, and even if you're not somebody who's great with technology, it shouldn't give you any issues. You should be able to follow the prompts and get your camera up and working, no problem. So with respect to the app itself, I've been using it now for several weeks, and if I was going to include all of the app features in this video and how to use it, this video would be incredibly long. Luckily, BirdReel already has a YouTube channel with several helpful videos that will walk you through different features of the app. So I would direct you to their page where you can learn a lot more of the details and nuances of the different features of the app. In general, however, the app does feature live streaming from your camera, so you can tune in anytime, see what's going on live, and it picks it up really, really quickly, which is nice. I find some other of the smart bird feeders I've used take a while to get to that live view, and so it's nice to be able to get to that live view really quickly, and you're able to capture videos and pictures directly from the live view. Also a really sweet feature. You can also ID the birds directly from the live screen. So if there's a bird on your feeder, you can hit the bird ID button and it will ID for you while you are looking at the bird on your bird feeder. Super cool feature. You can easily share your live stream, your photos, your videos in a wide variety of different ways with your friends and family. So that's a really nice feature as well, because of course we want to share the love of our backyard birds with other people that want to see it. So sharing is really easy with the app. As well as, so it does have software to identify 10,000 different species of birds. That's a lot of birds. That's pretty much every bird in the world, which seems maybe a little much for one app, but so far so good with the IDs. Overall, it's been pretty good with IDing the birds that I get to the bird feeder. If you use the ID feature in the live view, it'll give you a percentage of how accurate it thinks the ID is. And then you can also click on the ID and it jumps to the bird's Wikipedia page and tells you a bunch of information about the bird you're looking at, which is kind of a fun feature. If you wanted to ID it from photos in your gallery, there's a little icon on the image that you can select, and again, it will take you to the Wikipedia page featuring the bird that you're looking at or what the camera thinks that you are looking at. So far, the IDs have been pretty good. I will say I've had a couple of incorrect ones. It might be helpful for this app if it was to use maybe the ID features of the bird in combination with location. So it was IDing a black-capped chickadee as Carolina chickadee, but if it had known that I am in Ontario, then it probably would have known that it was a black-capped chickadee that I was looking at. So some things that, could be changed down the road with respect to the app itself. I've also had a couple of IDs come back as inconclusive, so that was interesting. It wasn't able to pick up what the bird was, or told me that there was no bird on the feeder when there was a bird on the feeder. So there's, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good and will help new people who are new to bird watching and bird feeding learn some of the birds that are visiting their feeder. So it's pretty good, but there's certainly some room for improvement, and I think that's just going to come with time. I like the notifications much better with BirdReel than I do with some of the other apps out there. First of all, because I can select how often I'm getting the notifications. Secondly, I find them a lot less annoying than some of the other apps out there. And it's easy when you click on the notification, it takes you right to like a news feed to show you all the different birds that have been visiting. So I find the notifications a lot less cumbersome than some of the other apps I've used. But of course, there is room for improvement, as I've already indicated. And some of the features that I would have on a wish list include, I would love for the software to be able to keep a running total of the birds seen. So, how many chickadees have come to my bird feeder? How many cardinals have come to my bird feeder? Kind of be fun to know that information. I would love to have an ID right from a motion detection. So when the app prompts you that there is a bird on your feeder, you click into it and you can see this news feed with a bunch of different pictures of the birds that have been visiting. From that news feed, if you could ID the birds from that screen, that would be really awesome. That would be a wish list item for me. And the ability to tell you what you're seeing. So instead of a notification popping up and saying there's a bird on the bird feeder or a bird has been detected, if it said something like a chickadee has been detected, that would be something I'd like a little bit more. But hey, these things are gonna come with time, right? So it's just a matter of people using it and wanting some of those features as much as I do. Some of the other things I love about the BirdReel Smart Bird Feeder. You can easily find replacement parts for this feeder, which is huge. You can either go onto the BirdReel website or visit your local Wild Birds Unlimited distributor to get replacement parts. And this is not an inexpensive feeder. This is an investment. Over time, things could happen, parts may break, and being able to purchase replacement parts is going to extend the life of your feeder, and that is huge. I've already broken some of the parts on some of my other smart bird feeders, and it's not as easy to find replacement parts for them. So I love that they make the replacement parts really accessible to their users. Speaking of support, they also have great customer support. So if you need help with something, you can reach out to BirdReel, or you can get in touch with your local Wild Birds Unlimited where you purchased the feeder from. Lastly, one other thing I absolutely love about BirdReel, speaking of Wild Birds Unlimited, is the company was founded by a fellow Wild Birds Unlimited store owner, actually a family. And what I love about that is you have people who are super passionate about birds and nature, creating awesome products for other people who share that passion. And I think it creates this really special connection between BirdReel and their users, which is awesome. So I've told you all the great features of BirdReel. How do the birds like it? They absolutely love it. The birds are using this feeder all the time. I'm constantly getting notifications to my phone that birds are on there eating the food and using the feeder. It's been a really wonderful experience to watch them literally through the camera coming and using this feeder. Honestly, it's probably the Wild Birds Unlimited birdseed that keeps them returning, but the birds are using it often because not only is this wonderful seed here, but also they feel comfortable using it. Obviously, this is a feeder they enjoy using. It's easy for them to access the seed. They feel comfortable feeding from it because they're here all the time. And it does make a difference to the birds when they feel comfortable and safe feeding from a feeder. We're gonna finish up with some key takeaways and look at what sets BirdReel apart from the competition, starting with its large capacity. So this feeder holds 2 liters or 2.2 pounds of seed, which is huge. It means that it's a lot less work for you. You're not gonna have to fill it as much, and it'll keep your birds happier longer. BirdReel features the longest battery life of any smart bird feeder out there, which is a huge advantage. It means potentially you will never have to remove the camera to charge it outside of the feeder. And that means that you're not gonna miss those important moments with your birds. It captures great quality photo and video that you can easily share via the app with your family and friends at the touch of a button. And speaking of the app, I think you're really going to enjoy using the app and all of the awesome features that it has, including setting up those notifications so they're not so cumbersome. BirdReel can also be used quite easily with our Wild Birds Unlimited advanced poll system, which is a huge advantage because you're going to be able to keep out the critters, and that is so important. You're investing a lot of money in a bird feeder like this, and so you want to invest in keeping the critters out as well. Well, there you have it, the BirdReel Smart Bird Feeder, a really great product in the space of smart bird feeders and lots of big advantages over the competition. Are you using smart bird feeders yet in your yard? Well, you should consider it because it will really take your bird feeding experience and kick it up to the next level. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone. We'll see you again next time.